Welcome back. In this video, we are going to go through the infinite loop of being financially fabulous so that you understand how your business decisions are going to start to transform using our financial GPS system workbook that is digital and interactive. So when you think about your business overall and and the dollars that flow through it and its financial health and all of the decisions that you need to make, you know already that they never sit idle. You're always making business decisions related to the money in your business. It is ever evolving. It's infinite. It is somewhat unpredictable, we might say. There's going to be areas that you actually can control, and there's going to be areas that are out of your control. But no matter what, in business and in life, even in our households, we want to put ourselves in a position that we have as much information as possible as a resource while we are making the decisions within our business. And this truly comes down to that mindset of independence and empowerment and being informed and not being fearful of the data, and knowing that we are truly smart humans and that we have the ability to learn this if we just dedicate our time and our mindset, meaning you envelope the system or the mindset of being financially fabulous, and you really step into that state of being of financially fabulousness. So that infinite loop of being financially fabulous consists of 7 milestones within that infinite loop. So if you think of infinite, right, like it is an infinite loop. And the 7 different milestones are mindset and habit, and we just talked about those. Then looking back, sitting in a space where you're at today, what has been happening in your business from a look back standpoint? What worked? What didn't? How efficiently are you using your cash flow? Has your inventory purchases worked out for you relative to the store, the business overall, and by category? How are you selling? Like at what levels and what metrics are you selling that inventory? So that would come down to your sales metrics, your inventory metrics, and then of course your financial metrics. What's working, what's not from a look back standpoint? Where's your efficiencies? What do you want to duplicate going forward because it is having a powerful impact on your business? Even though if it's not very apparent, every little good number compounds to bigger and better numbers. But then also looking back and identifying with what's not working. What areas, when you look back at your business's prior performance, the last 12 months, what areas are you not as proud of, knowing that you can improve with a little bit of action and focus and guidance from a coaching program in order to improve more and more going forward, right? Like the compounding effect. So looking back, where are you coming from? Sitting in a space where you are today, and then knowing that you have the opportunity to plan forward. So right here, we're looking at that 3rd milestone of your business is that now I'm sitting here idle. I know what I know about the past. I identify with it. I embrace it. And I'm going to sit in a space and I'm going to plan forward. What am I wanting to accomplish? What are my goals? Where am I wanting to see and witness successes relative to my sales, inventory, and financial data? Where do I want to be cash flow wise? Where do I want to be from an inventory standpoint? Maybe you have way too much inventory than you need. Maybe you have too little and just don't have the funds to purchase it. What does that mean from a plan forward standpoint? Then we look at it from a revenue standpoint, revenue mapping. Logically and realistically, how much revenue can you depend on with where your business is today with its customers and its market share? What is your revenue mapping? Gone are the days in our revenue mapping within this coaching program are where we're vanity numbers or year over year growth numbers. Instead, part of your process here is going to be that you are going to learn the process of logical and realistic revenue mapping so that you can identify with what revenue you can depend on so that you can then in the next milestone plan your inventory as accurately as possible. When you know what your logical and realistic revenue goal is, now you have a resource that is dependable for how much inventory you actually need in each category by season, by month, and how you're going to actually spend your inventory budgeted dollars to make sure that no inventory money goes wasted in areas that you're not going to be able to sell through, or that your customers aren't showing up at the doorstep to purchase, right? So then from there, we also, the sixth milestone is your profit and your cash flow planning. From your revenue mapping, we take with those revenue goals, we identify with what amount of money needs to be reserved for inventory buying, and that comes in your inventory plan. From there, we plan out your profitability, your debt reduction, your tax payments, your owner's pay, and the amounts that are left over once we protect those high level priorities from a profit and cash flow planning standpoint. We then map out, or we identify with, how much do you have left for your operating expenses. And you're able to plug and play scenarios where you can say, okay, if I take 20% profitability, that is going to help me pay my debt, help me pay myself, and I have 40% that is going to my cost of goods sold, to my inventory plan, that leaves an additional 40% for my expenses. Can I live within those means? And you begin to map out where you're going to spend your money within your operating expenses, so that you can assign purpose to every dollar before it's spent, and make sure that you're not wasting away very valuable operating expense cash flow on areas of spending that just isn't doing you any justice relative to getting towards your goals that you've set in your financially fabulous GPS system, your financial GPS system. And then, of course, we teach you the cash flow management aspects, so that you are managing the actual money in the bank accounts to the goals that you've set on your GPS system itself. Okay, so here's what this looks like for you. So if you think about your business and the 7 milestones of a financial GPS system within the Financially Fabulous coaching program, as we've talked through, it always starts with your mindset and your habits. What is my mindset today? Do I have a financially fabulous mindset? And am I willing and ready to dedicate the time and the energy and the efforts to learn this? I'm smart. I know I'm smart, but I'm also over here being told I'm a creative, which I am. But for some reason, I'm scared of the math. I'm scared of the numbers because I'm a creative, but yet I'm smart. How do we pull you out of that conflict that you're experiencing and get you into a space where you know that if you dedicate the time and that you make this a priority, and you learn our framework of being financially fabulous, and you stick with the program as it evolves, as it will evolve with you, and you're going to learn more about what that looks like here to come in these next video slides. But if you have that mindset and you build the habits around the work and the process of using the framework that we lay out for data-driven decision-making confidently, independently, with strategy and with hyper focus on where you want your money to be spent and what you want the ultimate outcome to be, you will experience success in your business. And truthfully, when you are financially fabulous and you identify with how intelligent you truly are relative to the money in your business, because you know your business, right? Like, you know retail, you know brand, wholesale. How is it that the money doesn't come as natural? It's because you're hiding away from it. When you step into this mindset and you start to build the habits and you start to show up and you allow us to mentor you and coach you and guide you and give you the systems and the frameworks, it will all start to fall in place. But here's the beautiful thing. Look at this infinite loop. If it falls into place under your mindset and your habits, and you do the work infinitely, looping around each of these 7 milestones, you will always find success. And doesn't that feel like so much more of a comfortable position than what you maybe feel like you're in today versus the unknown, right? Like, get the head out of the sand, get yourself into this infinite loop, and allow yourself to know and understand how the money is flowing through your business and how you can allow it to flow most efficiently. Eliminate the barriers and the roadblocks, eliminate all of the speed bumps, the road bumps, the detours, everything that's happening. Let's pay down that debt. Let's get you paid. And let's build that profit forever, profit focused company and profit forever company. So your mindset and your habits, that's right there where I just got on my little soapbox, because that's what I do. Your mindset and habits, those lead into you being able to look back. So in your infinite loop, and I'm going to show you it in the workbook. We're going to go into each of these very closely. You're going to always be looking back. Then you plan forward. Then you revenue map. Then you do a reality check, your mindset, your habits. How are we doing? Are we comfortable with our look back? Are we comfortable with our plan forward? How is our revenue mapping feel to us? Is it logical? Is it realistic? Are we making sure that we don't default to old habits of vanity numbers and year over year growth numbers that are unproven, that we can actually accomplish them? Okay, yep, we're in the right mindset. Now we're going to start to inventory plan. We're going to make sure we're bringing in the right inventory at the right time for the right revenue plan. Then we're going to profit plan. That means cash flow as well. And we're going to cash flow and cash flow management plan. Okay. Then we loop back into our mindset, which goes back into a look back, because every single month you are doing a look back. And then every single month you're reviewing your plan forward. You're reviewing your revenue mapping. You're reviewing your inventory plan. You're tweaking it. You're adjusting it. You're playing scenarios. And you just get into this space where you just are constantly looping, going, yep, check, 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 balance, balance. Got it all intact. I know what decisions I'm going to make. If I make this decision, what does it do to my inventory plan? If I make this decision, what does it do to my profit? If I make this decision, what does it do to my cash flow? It's all right here for you, very visual, very transparent, and at your fingertips to monitor, to change, but then to create focused action around. Okay, so doesn't that sound beautiful? So let's keep moving on. That's your infinite loop. Take a screenshot if you'd like. It is embedded in our coaching program. It's what we coach everything on. We're always touching all of these topic areas. And in different phase stages, which you're going to start to see, we actually go deep into some of these areas. So how is it that how is the infinite loop of being financially fabulous mastered, right? Like, how do we actually master this? How do we put ourselves in a position where this is extremely instinctive? It's easy. It's as easy as the creative. How do we get there? How do we master it? We do it in 3 phases. Okay, so this is a journey. You're not sprinting to an end goal. The program doesn't end, neither does making business decisions financially. It is 3 phases that you will always be going back and forth through. Because again, we talked about this. Your business is always evolving. It is always changing. You are always needing to make strategic decisions based on what is on the other side down the road, or what you know from the past 12 months or even 1 month that you've experienced in business. Sometimes predictable, sometimes not. It's always changing and evolving, which is why you will always pass back and forth into these 3 phases. So you might ask yourself, why even have 3 phases if it's never ending, right? Like, we know that infinitely we need to be making financial decisions around our 7 milestone areas. We do that in a financial GPS system workbook that is transparent and guides you and allows you to plug and play scenarios. It also allows you to give predicted outcomes, which is called projections. But how do you actually put yourself into a place that you feel like you personally, as the entrepreneur wanting to master this, wanting to develop the skill set and the knowledge and feel empowered by it and accomplish the independence so that you can do this on your own? How do you get that accomplished, right? Like, without being completely overwhelmed, we do it in 3 phases. So the very first thing that we do, I'm going to come in on the next one, but I'm going to back up here, your focus phase. So your focus phase is that you're going to reflect on your business's history and you're going to plan for the future. This focus phase is very much you at the very onset of you coming in the program. You can either do this independently with our on-demand videos and our live recordings that are reserved for you to watch from a look-back stamp, that you can watch them as recordings posted, or you can come in live. It's called our Focus Forward. So 4 times a year, we do our Focus Forward event. That doesn't mean that you have to wait to join the program for that time, because we do have the recordings in our training coaching software. But that Focus Forward event, it's 2 days, and we're going to talk about that more as we go down the road. It's two days, 4 times a year, January, March, June, and September. We do the 2-day Focus Forward event, which allows you from a live standpoint to do workshop building of your financial GPS system. So for 2 full days, you're showing up with me live on Zoom, and we're building out your very initial financial GPS system. You're building it out, you're getting data into it, you're understanding where to pull the data from your point of sale system, from your financial system. If you don't have things in place, we get them in place for you. We help and guide you there. So there's no reason not to start. But no matter what, from a focus standpoint, we've got to at least build out your financial GPS system so that you have a baseline started. You've got a look back of 12 months or as much time that's relevant in your business. If you're new and you have not started your business, this is actually the best time for you to do this, because why not start and know how to do this and not make the unnecessary financial mistakes going forward. So your look back starts with whatever data you have, right? Like as relevant as it is. Then we plan you forward, and we do that in the focus forward phase. Okay. But then what happens is once you're done and you've built out your financial GPS system workbook, maybe it's in draft mode and you just need to learn more about it and understand it more and continue to hone your skills, capture knowledge that maybe you missed, because it's a lot that we're going over because you're learning money and you're a creative. What you do is you then shift into, you stay in the focus phase because you're always going to be building and looking back and planning forward. But then what we do is we shift you into the optimize phase. And optimize, we coach to optimize about 46 weeks out of the year, every Monday around the noon hour. Okay. 12 o'clock Eastern time is the schedule as of this recording. So every Monday most Mondays, we have optimized coaching events. These are all live. So you get your focus forward live events 4 times a year for 2 days, where you workshop, head down, do the work, head up. I tell you how to do it. I show you, I demonstrate, head down, do the work, head up. I move you forward, show you how to do it, demonstrate, head down, do the work, all the way through the workbook. Optimize is when you are learning from a very segmented, deep dive, just getting yourself embedded into it. Each step of the workbook, you're learning it a little bit deeper. So when we go into the optimize phase, and again, we're coaching optimize every other Monday, except for some vacation time of the year. So there's always opportunity to learn and catch up and be involved. We never leave you hanging. And there's no stop. There's no start. You just come in and you learn and you grow. You're taking strategic actions based on your insights that come from your focus. All right. And you're learning to build out your workbook more seamlessly, more accurately. You're learning to plug and play the figures. You're learning to understand what the scenarios look like and how to make decisions around them. You're learning to identify with what's working and what's not. You're developing and honing in on your skills on what actually is. You're getting the repetitive learning in the optimize phase, as well as honing your skills on data-driven decision making. So optimize is week over week. You take strategic action based on the insights that are within your financial GPS system. And then elevate. Elevate is where we really truly traject you forward. Once you're very comfortable with your financial GPS system, you're used to plugging and playing it, you know how to make data-informed decisions around it, or at least you're continuing to develop those skills, you will then shift into elevate phase, or at least you'll allow elevate to become part of your learning. Elevate is going to be where you're focusing on sustainable success and community connection. And when I talk about sustainable success, this is where we go deeper into subject matter that is part of your decision-making relative to your dollars, right? Your finances. It might be employee pay and compensation, employee incentive plans, employee benefits. It might be how to build out a good tax strategy all the way throughout the years so that you don't become tax burdened at year end. It might be coming in and looking at how to negotiate lease contracts so that you can get a better lease rate. It might be buying property. It might be just overall investment strategies and inventory growth strategies, and optimizing your operations and optimizing, when do you decide to invest into Facebook ads and social media and all of the things, right? Do you bring on a manager, and what does that look like? That's what Elevate is all about. So if the decision in your business has a dollar sign attached to it, at some point in the evolution of Financially Fabulous, we will be having and will continue to have coaching programs on these elevated subjects. All right. So you're also going to learn as we go forward that, and I mentioned in our welcome video, is that the coaching program itself consists of me as your lead coach. I come in and I'm residing in all three of these phases. But we've also added in and will continue to add additional success mentors, whom are veteran industry entrepreneurs. So they understand your business as sitting in your seat. They're going to help you also be there available to help you through your focus, your optimize, and your elevate. But above and beyond those success mentors, and if you're ever thinking like, I can't do this in a group, I need to do this on one-on-one, that's also where the success mentor comes in, is if you choose, you can actually engage with a success mentor in order to get one-on-one coaching that will up-level your experience from where you feel you're capable in a group setting. But please know that the group setting is established for those of you who are ready to tackle it head on, because you know how smart and brilliant you truly are. It's set up for you to do this in a group setting. But we know that some people want a little bit more hand-holding. They want a little bit more one-on-one conversation. They want to talk things through. That's how you learn. It is available to you. Elevate, what we're doing, so that's the success mentor. Elevate. In the Financially Fabulous coaching program, we have Elevate influencers that will be coming in continuously and on a revolving cycle that works best for this group and what we're looking for and what you guys need out of it, to share their own superpowers. Some of them will be industry service providers that have their superpower that is specific to the industry, like mine is accounting and financial management and all things money related, where we have others that are relative to building out and creating efficiencies on your website. Others are about using Shopify as efficiently as possible. Maybe it is about using comments sold. Others, a very big one is going to be systems and procedures and checklists and operations, because a ton of what I coach to in this program is the numbers always tell you the story of what is inefficient, what is efficient, and what is effective in your business operations. The numbers tell that story. So we are engaged with a operations manager from our industry who also coaches and will be coming in from an Elevate influencer standpoint. So that is going to be a really big part of the Elevate sequence of our phases. But again, when you look at the purple arrows right here, you don't just say, okay, this program, I'm going to term out. I'm not going to just be focused and then at a magical moment, I'm into optimize, and then another magical moment, I'm in elevate. You're constantly going back and forth. And it is because your journey is never ending, and you're going to be experiencing different scenarios in your business that you may need to make decisions based on. And those scenarios are predicted by struggles, growth, scalability, sustainability, outside influences, internal influences. It could be that your team has caused, ruckus or amazing results in your business. How do you shift back and forth? Because every decision that you make in your business affects a dollar sign within it. And that ultimately affects your profitability, which then ultimately affects your cash flow. So this is your three phases. Let's look at what they consist of. So when we talk about mindset, right? Like we're having a big conversation here about mindset. Your primary mindset traits within each of these phases, let's look at this, and they overlap. So no matter what, central to these three phases, we are focused on profitability. We are a profit-focused coaching program. You need profit to survive. You need profit to pay down debt. You need profit to pay yourself. You need profit to build reserves. You need profit in order to grow your inventory levels that will allow you to grow your revenue. Profit is the lifeblood of your decision making. It is what you are looking for. So everything that we're doing in our phases comes with profitability as a primary focus. This is the ultimate success story, is when we can be profitable and know and understand where our profit dollars were used relative to our assets, our liabilities, or our owner's pay. Okay. So when it comes to your mindsets, at the intersection of focus and mindset, or focus and optimize, at the intersection, you're going to have a data-driven decision mindset. Okay, and that's what we're developing. So when we're in our focus forward sessions, or you're self-learning your when you're doing it live or doing it on your own, your focus is going to be where you're building out that financial GPS system and maintaining that financial GPS system and optimizing it, because it is your data-driven decision-making tool. It gives you the transparency into what is working from a look back standpoint, what is not, how to plan forward, and then, how to plan forward, and then what that plan looks like as you map it out relative to revenue, inventory, profit, cash flow, and operating expenses. All right. So at the intersection is data-driven mindsets. You're going to be comfortable knowing that the data is telling you how to proceed forward with any given decision. So then we come through optimize. Optimize is where you're making sure that you fully understand your workbook. Data-driven decision-making is becoming more comfortable. The numbers have transparency behind them. You can see what they're telling you. You don't fear what they're telling you. You're instead just responding to it and allowing it to be your dashboard system, your guide. Okay, that's a guided profit and scale. That's what GPS stands for here. Guided profit and scale system. At the intersection of optimize and expand, you have a financial growth mindset. You now have taken your data-driven decision-making, you've honed your skills, you've become more comfortable with it, and now you're ready to shift into more of an expanded mindset around your data and your numbers and your decision-making, and that's that financial growth mindset. I've stabilized, I understand it, I'm starting to pay down my debt, I'm feeling more comfortable with my decisions, I'm starting to see the financial results show up in my bank account. And now I have a financial growth mindset. This isn't a revenue growth mindset. This is a financial growth mindset, meaning you're going to shift from optimize and you're going to go into expand, and you're going to become more knowledgeable and more expert, more mastery level at all things financial related. That's where I talk about the tax and the operating systems and processes, and the commission or the incentive plans for your employees, and how to pay them, and how to set up a contract with them, and how to benefit them, and how should you be negotiating with your vendors, just all of the things that affect your cash flow dollars. That comes into this financial growth mindset and shifts through expansion. But then you never end your focus, right? Like you're never going to end your focus. And so that's where strategic resilience comes in, is you've got to look at it to say, okay, I'm still in the life of being financially fabulous, and I've started to expand on my knowledge. I'm just getting smarter and more brilliant as an entrepreneur in this industry. I've got strategic resilience on the brain. Like this is what I'm focused on, but I still need my data. I still need to make sure that I always keep my data up to date, and that I allow it to tell its story so that I can rewrite the path going forward at all times. So this is the primary mindset traits that we hone in on in the Financially Fabulous coaching program. So let's look at this a little bit deeper. Let's talk about you as the entrepreneur, and what are your entrepreneurial characteristics? So again, with profit as our focus point, and then you still see the intersections of each of our phases and how they are mindset driven. Let's now talk about you as an entrepreneur. So right here in the focus phase, your analytical mindset and your open-mindedness is resulting in discipline and patience. All of a sudden, you have this characteristic where you are open-minded to what the data is telling you. You don't fear it. You're not scared of math. You no longer put yourself into a category of being numbers dyslexic. You are willing to identify with what has worked and what has not. You are proud to celebrate what is working, but you're not fearful to verbalize and be held accountable for what is not working. And you are anxious. You're anxious, not in a bad way, like forward thinking anxious. You're happy. You're ready to plan for the future. That is the characteristic, your entrepreneurial characteristic, that is going to start to evolve in the focus segment of your phases. Then when you get to optimize, all of a sudden you are going to become action focused. You are going to be action orientated, right? Like focus. If you know that an action needs to be taken, it is going to definitely be your priority. And it's going to be something that you focus on, but you're also going to be adaptable, right? Like you're going to make sure that you are adaptable. You're willing to say, okay, that didn't work. I gave it a gallant effort, tried my best. It didn't work, but now I'm going to do it differently going forward. I'm going to do it this way and see if this works. Maybe half of what the new will work and maybe half won't. And then you adapt and you adjust again. So adaptability is so important because what worked a year ago may not work 2 months from now. We see it all over the place in our industry. We can go from 1 year that live selling is unbelievably successful to all of a sudden it dropped off and nobody's watching because we're too time consumed. And then all of a sudden, boom, people want community connection from their living rooms again and they're live selling. That's just an example of how what worked yesterday doesn't always work tomorrow, but then the evolution is that it might work again another year from now. So adaptability is so very important, and your data is going to tell you what's working and what's not, in addition to your pulse and your gut, right? But you're also going to be developing monitoring skills. So the monitoring skills are to actually learn to identify with what is working and not, and learn and be comfortable and trust in yourself to say, okay, here's what I believe is the next best thing going forward. I'm seeing it start to transpire in my data here, so I know I need to make a shift. And I'm going to really trust these monitoring skills that I've built. And I'm going to just become that much better at all decisions that affect my money running through my business. Okay, so now we get into this expand. And this is where we really start to go, hey, I am at a point where I can say I am financially fabulous. It is a state of being for me, and I'm going to continue to develop that state of being. I'm smart. I'm analytical. I'm adaptable, right? Like all these things are going to come into play. But here's the thing is this in the expand section, the phase, is where you become a visionary leader, where you start to envelope continuous learning, where you really lean into it, and where you really seek and contribute, where you seek out community engagement, and you're not shying away from the conversations, right? So within Financially Fabulous Coaching Program, these are all financially focused entrepreneurs in our industry. Y'all have a ton in common. Like, why wouldn't you use each other as a resource? Find your pod, find your friend, find your accountability group, use your coaches, use your success mentors, use your expand influencers. Be the visionary leader that you have been seeking out to be. Continuous learning is so important. You can't stop learning. That's why this program is really, truly evolutionary, and community engagement is really going to give you that close connection and allow you to not feel so alone when it comes to the financial aspects of your business. All right. So with that being said, we're going to cut off this video, and then the next video, we're going to go into the focus section of your financially fabulous phase. And what's fun about this next video, so don't cut yourself short on this, is I am actually going to show you the Financially Fabulous workbook. I'm going to give you each of the 7 milestones that we just talked about within your focus phase. And I'm going to show you each of those milestones within your actual workbook. So you're going to see it under your infinite loop. And you're also going to see it within the workbook. And it is going to truly allow you to see how focus is going to give you the data and the analytical mindset that you need, as well as the data-driven decision-making mindset that is right here. I'll see you in the next video.